What if Friends sets a new rushing record again in 2025? I think there are a couple of things that come into play if Friends does that again. Number one, it means there's still no answer for this offense. The Terry Harrison factor is a real thing. If they set a new rushing record again, which would be that would mean the Falcons would have three of either the top 5 or top 6 rushing totals all time in the NAIA in just the last 3 years. If that were the case, it says, I think to other coaches, maybe you might want to look into this option offense, because clearly when you run it and you run it well and you run it right and you have all the right parts, you can get something done. So I think that's one of the things that it says. I think another thing that it says is that it would mean likely that Friends is making a run deep into the playoffs. Granted, this is an offense that puts up well more than 400 yards a game. But even at that, in an 11-game season, let's just say 425 yards a game, which is probably at the max. I mean, if you're doing that, or you're doing a little bit more, that's a lot. 425 yards a game. The quick math on that, just in case Roger Meyer is listening, is 5,075 yards. Now, that's a lot, but it's not a record. Friends played 13 games last year. So if Friends sets a new rushing record, it would mean likely the Falcons have made a run deep into the playoffs. And what if they do? I think another thing that comes into play, you have to have Kevontae Baker in the talk for NAIA Player of the Year. And the thing about that also is the fact that as a quarterback of an option offense like this, the numbers he puts up are not going to be comparable to what other quarterbacks do. And that's one of those things that, as a committee of whoever decides who's the conference player of the year, because the NAIA National Player of the Year is selected from conference players of the year. Whoever's there in the conference has to recognize what he's done. And I'm sure if he were to do that in the conference, that there would be no doubt. And then people on the national level would have to recognize, okay, the numbers are going to be a little bit different. They're going to say something different than what we normally see. However, what has he done on the field? So if Friends sets a new rushing record in 2025, you have to put Kevontae Baker in the discussion for Player of the Year.